This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
So, Dave, this is the week of lovers. You realize that,
How
right?
long have we been together? So we're celebrating what, 40, how many years?
42-ish? 42 years or so.
What is the 42-year?
Well, I've got something even better. So I have found some audio from Germany of people during Valentine's week, just to show you that love is a universal language.
Well, and if it's coming from Germany, it definitely is.
Yes.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. This is Germans who say erotic things. All right, here we go.
Oh, Liebchen, bark like a schnauzer.
That is the bratwurst in my pants, but I am happy to see you.
Your lovemaking is so efficient.
Touch it. Touch my glockenspiel.
Oh, baby, I just love the way you are so punctual.
But Liebchen, I am a soccer player, and we can't use our hands.
So, it's a universal language.
I don't think those were real Germans.
No, they really are. And it is also really time for Minutia Men.
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie production on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
I've probably told this story before. It doesn't need the jingle.
Okay.
Well, you remember at my wedding.
Yes, I do.
And there was a point where I'm supposed to kiss my mom.
Yes.
When she was at the pulpit. And I lean over to kiss her and she recoiled.
Yes, I remember it well.
And the whole joint laughs,
Yeah.
So
You're still scarred by that, aren't you?
a little bit, yeah. I never saw my parents kiss. Did you guys?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, all my parents used to make out and stuff. No, I'm kidding. I never saw it either.
Seriously, did you ever see the...
Look, pecks on the cheek. That's about it. Or, like dad brings home flowers and mom gives him, a little peck.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I think we were peckless.
My dad was actually like a romantic.
Yeah.
He was, for real.
Yeah.
But my mom was just not into it at all. Yeah. It was pretty funny to watch, actually.
So you're pretty romantic.
Yeah, I think so, for a German.
You remember the anniversary date.
Yes, I do.
And you haven't ever forgotten her.
No, and
name.
later on in the show, this is just a teaser, I'm going to give my advice for long-term love.
To young lovers?
Yes.
Right. Well, we got a hell of a show today.
We do.
We got to get going because we do.
All right, let's do it.
Can you fire up the jingle? Florida jingle.
Yes, here we go.
What's wrong with you, Florida?
This comes out of Florida, as you probably know, right?
I guess that.
Florida school asks parents for permission to have book by an African-American author read to students.
Unbelievable.
Did you hear about this?
No.
A Florida school district is drawing fire for asking parents to consent to having their children participate in the reading of an African-American's author's book to comply with state law. And of course, the law that we're talking about is the Parental Rights and Education Law, which is referred to as the Don't Say Gay Law,
right?
Signed by
Ron DeSantis.
Under the event description, and you are welcome to look at it on Google. It's all over.
This is real.
There. Under the event description on the permission slip, it reads, students will participate and listen to a book written by an African American.
Wow.
The title of the book, nor the author's name is listed anywhere on the permission slip. It's just the fact that he's black. He or she is black.
Unbelievable.
Right? I reached out to the Florida school superintendent, Joseph Goebbels. And, he was not able to talk to me. He was attending a rally in Germany.
He was saying Liebchen.
Right. He was. Permission slips are going out next week about the use of black crayons, blackboards, and blacktop in the playground. The chessboard question.
Yeah. Oh,
that is going to be in March.
Yeah.
They're gonna tackle that. So, and finally, did you know that if you were in the Indian Head District in Florida,
okay,
you cannot, the libraries in those schools, you cannot find a copy of the diary of a young girl.
Diary of Anne Frank.
Diary of Anne Frank. But you can check out Mein Kampf.
For real?
That is for real.
Wow.
So.
All right. Well, I have a story for you that's not quite as depressing as that one. This one is about primate humor. Okay. And this is kind of a fun story. For the first time, researchers have detailed how great apes playfully tease. Right? So they found out that there are 4 species of great apes that joke around, suggesting that the human cognitive tools...
The Shecky species, the Morty species,
yes.
the Buddy.
Exactly. And that humor may go back 13 million years if you consider, we rose from the...
13 million? What are you talking about? I think it's 2,600 years or something,
well,
right?
I mean...
That's 6,000 years,
true.
right?
According to this
I read
study,
that in Florida.
Yeah, probably can't read this study in Florida, but they found that there are 18 different types of good-natured teasing where an ape provoked another unsuspecting ape in a playful manner. This is a true story.
Okay.
The most common behaviors across all 4 species were poking, hitting, hindering movement, body slamming, what's that on your shirt, got your nose, pull my finger, tapping the other shoulder, I know you are, but what am I? Take my wife, please. You can call me Ray.
What's in your ear? Is that a quarter?
And the election was stolen. All behaviors observed among humans. Sometimes... it also involved elements of surprise, said Lummer, a researcher at the Max Planck Institute of Animal Behavior. The teaser would actually sneak behind the back of the target and then surprise the target with a teasing action, like a hit, or screaming boo, or whispering, your mother has a red ass. That's what happens.
I see what you did there
in
with
the monkey world.
With the gorillas. I said that.
Playful teasing can be seen as entertainment, but others, like primatologist Marina Davila Ross, says it also can help juveniles better understand their social partners. For instance, a young ape learns how much they can joke around with another individual before they get a reaction. And they learn that there are some times when jokes are not appropriate, like when your wife is mad, or when your father-in-law is seriously telling you the latest conspiracy theory that he believes. All of this is also in the ape world, which I think is fantastic. Given that this playful teasing is seen in great apes, simple joking has been present in our last common ancestor going back 13 million years.
So when I was gloriously unemployed out of college, I would walk to Lincoln Park and just hang out in the gorilla cage, or not the cage,
in the gorilla house,
house, and there was a gorilla kundu. I'm not kidding. That would kind of go by the glass, pretend he wasn't looking, and then just slam his head as hard. I'm not kidding. And it was like, whoa, everybody screamed.
It's true, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true. Yeah. And in other words, and this is important to remember, it's not our fault.
No, it's
this is just how we were made.
It's evolution.
It's evolution.
I can't stop it, honey.
I'd love to stop joking, but I'm not.
I'm not evolutionarily able to do so. Exactly. That was not a word, but that's good. Hey, we got a interview. We got a review on Podbean from Thelma and Louise's Gas Cap, which I thought is a pretty interesting name.
I like that.
After listening to every episode, I think to myself...
Every episode? Yikes. I don't think I've even done that.
There is no way that news story is real, and every week I'm wrong. Great show.
Yeah, look up the Florida school story.
Yep.
Look up the gorilla story. These are all true.
Yep.
All right. Well, in part of this show one of my favorite parts of the show was when we could dip into the Rick and Dave archives, and we call this segment Studio Walls.
Time now for Studio Walls.
And the words of the prophets were written on the studio walls. Rick and Dave.
So I got a couple of treats for you this week. A couple of treats. This is a big anniversary week. 25 years ago this week, President Bill Clinton was impeached, which is, timely because there was just an impeachment of a low-ranking official.
The janitor who did,
But, so we did this bit when I was with the John Landecker show 25 years ago, where Vince Argento, who you heard earlier in the show doing the German erotic talk, Vince figured out a way to do the chipmunk voices.
Okay.
Right. And then, and this is really where the talent comes in, he figured out how to sing in 3-part harmony as the Chipmunks, which is really hard to do. You don't just sing it in 3-part harmony and then speed it up. You have to sing it really slow and then do it from that and then speed it up after that.
Okay.
So it's really a technically difficult thing to do. Yeah. How did that affect society? The amount of time that he spent, he could have cured cancer, probably. Well, maybe so. But it also gave us this fun bit, and I think it stands the test of time if you ask me, and no one's asking me. But this is Chipmunks talking about the impeachment of Bill Clinton. It includes some clips from the actual impeachment, including one from Strom Thurmond, who was still around then. And I just want to play the whole thing for you. Because
that was such a quaint time in our
lives,
right?
Looking back on it.
I long for that kind of provincial.
All right, well, here it is. This is the Chipmunks impeachment.
Well, Theodore, Simon, Alvin, looks like the impeachment really happened.
We wrote a song about it, John.
Okay, let's hear it.
Clinton, Clinton, now you know. Congress said that you should go. Truth is something you should find. Was there a time when you didn't lie? John, tell Alvin that's not the issue. Congress ignored the will of the people. Tell Theodore he lost. Loser, loser, loser. This loser can kick the little winner's hiney, yeah? And you can kiss it too.
Boys, boys, boys!
William Jefferson Clinton has undermined the integrity of his office, has brought disrepute on the presidency, has betrayed his trust as president. William Jefferson Clinton, by such conduct, warrants impeachment and trial, and removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit.
John, Theodore doesn't appreciate the sanctity of the law. Simon, aren't you still on parole? I never lied under oath about my sex life. That's because you don't have one.
Boys, can't we be bipartisan?
But, John!
Just sing, fellas.
Senate, you decide if Clinton should be crucified. At least he doesn't make us snore. Please don't give us President Gore.
You got a point there, guys. This is going to be ugly, isn't it?
You better believe it, John. I say censure. That's toothless. Toothless sounds like a good idea. How about a toothless Alvin? Toothless is something that your trailer park president is familiar with.
Do you solemnly swear that in all things appertaining to the trial of the impeachment of William Jefferson Clinton, President of the United States, now pending, you will do impartial justice according to the Constitution and laws, so help you God?
I do.
Listen to that guy. He's so old that he was probably at the first impeachment trial. But at least he didn't lie under oath. Enough with that lie under oath crap. Can't you even admit that a 96-year-old man is old? I just hope that I can still pound my gavel when I'm his age, if you know what I mean. Shut up, you brat. This brat can kick your butt. Brat, brat.
So that was what it was like 25 years ago.
That sounded fantastic.
Isn't that good? I remembered that we did it, and I sent Vince a text asking him to send it to me, and he has no memory of even doing it.
Really? Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty good. So before we get to the next thing, it's another anniversary. 50 years. It's a 50-year anniversary.
All right, so 50 years, that puts us, what, at 74?
1974.
Okay.
A little 11-year-old boy had his first moment in the sun.
Oh, God, no.
When he wrote a poem
oh my God,
about Abraham Lincoln.
We need to do a jingle, the Lincoln poem jingle.
No. We're playing it again, doggone it. Here it is. Because it's a 50th anniversary. I mean, how many times do you have a 50th anniversary for something like this? And here it is, Dave Stern, 1974. Okay.
Honest Abe, he was called, and we are sure he was not bald. When he was young, he read and read, and even when he was in bed. But until the day he died, he had still never lied. He was one of our leaders, and a good one at that, who always wore a very high hat. And just as he wanted and just as he got, except for a man with a dangerous plot. John Wilkes Booth was a very bad man, and surely not a Lincoln fan. He put a great leader into his grave who wanted so much to save every slave. Dave Stern, 1974.
Wow, I hit puberty very quickly.
Now, just quickly to tell that story again, you won a contest.
It was in 6th grade, and it was, you had to write a poem about anybody,
right,
or anything and whatever. And my hero, Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
I wrote a poem about Abraham Lincoln,
and you got to do it on the radio.
Yeah, I did. It was like 4 of us were invited to WBEZ radio,
which is the NPR station.
Right, but that was actually at Northeastern.
Okay.
At the time.
All right.
It was a huge deal. Huge deal. And there it is.
Well, I don't think you should run away from it. I think it's something you should wear as a badge of honor. Pride.
Yeah, like Gallagher's Watermelon and Sledgehammer.
You've been in show business for 50 years now.
I have
50. It's a half century of Dave Stern.
And still telling the same jokes, just like comedians. Can we continue here?
Yeah, okay, fine.
We got Delta Aircraft.
Wait, now 75th anniversary. Oh, no, that's it.
Yeah, no, you did a lot of...
Thank you.
And that was also a Vince Argento production.
It was a Vince Argento production, yes.
When does he have time to do anything? A Delta aircraft returned to airport after maggots were falling on passengers.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yesterday, Tuesday, February 13th, 2024, flight DL-133 from Amsterdam to Detroit returned to Schiphol, is that the airport in Amsterdam?
I think so, yeah.
As first reported, the Airbus A330 was forced to turn around because maggots were falling out of the overhead.
Ooh.
One passenger by the name of Dirk Johnson said that he was drinking his coffee when he saw all of a sudden something splash and a little maggot was swimming in his coffee. It appears that somebody had a fish in the overhead.
And just left it there.
Well, I don't know. The story is still unfolding, and it does sound a little fishy.
I don't want to know what kind of cleanup job they did.
It could have been there since.
Hey, who missed the fish?
I know. So they had to turn around because maggots started to rain from this overhead on this poor.
That could be the most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
Do you remember? Did you ever go through the lice phase with your kids?
You had boys. I got lucky, but none of them ever had it.
So, well, girls.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember you had it
all the time. Every friggin' two months there was another lice. And I remember a couple of times seeing those little guys. I mean, in order for a lice to be able to be seen by human eyes, it's a survivor,
right?
You know,
right.
It has been.
It's made it through the shampoo. It's made it through whatever else you have to put in there.
I mean, I would be able to see them like little.
And you have to, for you young parents out there, you have to literally pick them out one by one out of their hair.
Then you do that for a while, and then you like slather their hair with like some lotion. Is it Cetaphil? I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they got to wear like a Saran wrap bonnet over their head, and then you have to wash everything.
Yes,
and like
the whole house.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like if you hear somebody's got mice in their house, you don't come out and say, "Oh, you're living in squalor,"
right.
But you think it.
Oh, absolutely.
You think it.
Oh, and lice as well. I never had the same thing. I never had the problem with lice.
Well, I bet that's true.
One step ahead, baby.
So this is it's the week of love. Valentine's Day was Wednesday. What did you and Michelle do?
Absolutely no.
Yeah, same with us.
No. I worked. I got home at like 9.
Yeah.
And just.
Do you guys ever do anything for Valentine's Day?
No.
I don't think we have since our first couple of years of marriage. I don't think we've done anything.
I know. I remember we used to.
Once the kids come, it's like whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Every day with me is a present.
Well, anyway, apparently doing nothing is not a bad thing. The British news service Sky News talked to couples who have been married for 60 years and asked them all the secrets to their long marriages. and I thought this is very cute. Josephine and Aubrey Langley, who were 90 and 91. Mm-hmm. They met in 1958 when they foxtrotted at the Mostyn Dance Hall in North Wales. Mm-hmm. And according to Mrs. Langley, there's one thing that's key to a long-lasting relationship. You ready? A husband that knows how to barbecue and make an exceptionally good gin and tonic.
Not bad.
I think that makes me a good husband.
Yeah.
I'm a good husband.
You're a good barbecuer.
I am, and I can make a very good gin and tonic.
I don't think I've ever had one of yours.
John and Patricia Chesney, who are 84 and 83, they celebrated their 61st anniversary on February 2nd.
So they got married at like 19 and...
Please don't make me do the math.
Okay.
Mrs. Chesney had a tongue-in-cheek advice for the young couples. She told them, run.
That was cheeky.
Yeah, it was cheeky. It was cheeky. But then she advised, here's the actual secret. The actual secret is, let your husband think he's the boss as long as he obeys his wife.
Yeah. Well,
which I think is also very good advice.
Whenever anybody asks me how, you guys have been married 32 years, I do whatever she tells me to.
Yeah. In fact, I promised my secret to a long marriage: happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. Right.
Happy husband, not important.
Yep.
Not important. Yep. If you look at the list of things, that's not even in the top 50, as far as I can tell. All right, so that is...
Well, happy Valentine's Day to you.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, too.
To me and you.
We should send each other Valentine's cards. Like we did in school. You had to give them to everybody.
Yeah, right. You could put like a basket in front of your house.
Be mine.
Well, no, to piss off our wives. Although I know now Michelle's listening.
Yeah.
So this is kind of... we should do... on Valentine's Day, us get together.
Yes, and give each other roses and stuff.
Honey, I can't do anything Tuesday. Me and Rick are gonna
hey, it's Valentine's Day. It's my night with Dave. You understand. All right, it's time for another feature.
A random name pulled out of Rick's bowl of brushes with celebrities. Mixture, collection, selection, assemblage, medley, assortment, variety. Time now for Celebrity Potpourri with Rick and Dave.
So this one comes in via email. It's from Carlos. One of you guys said something in a recent episode that sparked a memory. You said, who is the most famous person you went to college with? Everybody knows at least one. Mm-hmm. I thought, not me. I went to California State University in the mid-'90s, not exactly Harvard or Juilliard. But then I remembered something from the deep recesses of my mind, and I just know you'll appreciate this. I hadn't even thought about this in years, but one of my classmates in marketing class was this black guy who looked really familiar. Mm-hmm. It was really bugging me, so I finally asked him who he was. His name, Rodney Allen Rippey.
Oh!
The kid who got famous in the 1970s for those Jack in the Box commercial. Yeah. You want Minutia? Top that. Carlos, that's a good one. It sent me down a Jack in the Box rabbit hole, and I found one of the old commercials from Rodney Allen Rippey. This goes back to 1976. Here it is.
Hi, I'm Rodney Allen Rippey. There's a lot of things you can eat at Jack in the Box. This is a Jack steak sandwich, and these are pretty delicious too. And this is a taco. This is a onion rings.
Oh.
There might be 10,000 things at Jack in the Box. Pack up the kids, crank up the car to Jack in the Box. Come as you like, come as you are to Jack in the Box.
Rodney Allen
He
Rippey.
was on he'd be on the Flip Wilson show.
He was everywhere. There was an Odd Couple episode with him where Felix and Oscar had to go talk to their landlord about something. And Rodney Allen Rippey was their landlord because he was, he was so famous and he was a mogul at that time. That was the bit. That's also on YouTube if you want to find it. Rodney Allen Rippey.
And if you're in Florida, you need a permission slip to watch those commercials.
That's a great point. But please send in your emails to us. We do get quite a few of them, but we enjoy all of them. Mm-hmm. Send them to MinutiaMen podcast@gmail.com, or you can send them through our various different social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. You'll find us.
And
we're
please
out there.
And review us too.
And review us.
Yeah, and then maybe your review will be.
How many stars should they give us?
I don't want to. What is it, 5 or 4?
I don't want to get greedy, but I think 5 stars is all you're allowed to put in there.
Okay. Yeah, 5 would. You know what? 4 is fine. You know what? 3.
What?
I don't care.
You have no idea how to promote. You know who does know how to promote? Our executive producer, Tony Lasano, with Opie Shows. We should thank him for all of his hard work, and he does work hard for us. We also need to thank...
Happy Valentine's Day to you.
We should send him a card.
Yeah.
Also, happy Valentine's to Ed Silla with Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio is not dead, Dave. It's just moved to a better place, radiomisfits.com. And we're working our butts off, which means we're going to be here again
next week
with a brand new episode of
Minutia.
That's right. And, you know, one other thing before we go, I just want to wish everybody in our audience a very special and happy Valentine's Day week. And
you're scrambling. You're looking for a jingle right now.
Kiss your loved ones. Okay. I want you to kiss your loved ones.
Where's this going? You're struggling here.
All right, and it's time for this.
Smooth. The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at radiomisfits.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?
I'm like a gymnast who landed the perfect landing.
Nadia.
Yeah. Bye.